We're going to get the case open. Wow. Folks are coming in. Try not to knock you guys over in the process. And I'm also going to try not to blind you guys with the glare. Hopefully that's not glaring too bad. And there we go. All of those. Go ahead and get some top loaders opened up. I'm gonna need those. This is what I've been talking about, though, with every time I say I think we need shorter races. Although I personally think they could probably make Watkins Glen a little bit longer, because that was a pretty quick race. To start slightly after 2, and at 4:30 it's over. That's a pretty quick race. 2.5 hours max. But I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. Trust me. I don't say that because I think it's a bad thing. All right. It's kind of unique doing this early in the afternoon like this, though. We're not used to... Usually it's, 7, 8 o'clock or something until we're doing something. I don't, I think we can get into the race. But again, I don't hate the idea that it's this early. I'm excited that we can get this done and not keeping everybody up super late tonight. So here is our owner list for the case break of Blasters. I do have all spots accounted for and paid for, and we're not waiting on anybody, so appreciate everybody for that very much. yeah, nothing to add there. So thank you to everybody. Good luck to everybody. Here is the William Byron custom for last week's Iowa win that I came up with. And that's going to go to Michael McManus. So that one will go to Michael. And again, if you're not familiar with what I've been doing with these, every week for the winner, I make a custom card. And it's usually, some kind of victory lane or burnout celebration, or they've kind of all had a similar feel to them because they're all based on the win. That's kind of what I want to highlight with these. So, but I've been making a set, and every week we only make 2 of them. So each week, like for last week, we had the Iowa race. This is the winner from last week. And then the following Sunday, whoever picked that driver gets that card. So that's how Michael ended up with it. The second one goes to the set. I'm building a complete set of them. And at the end of the year, we're going to give that set away or do some kind of raffle or giveaway or fundraiser or, I don't know, contest, something. We're going to do something with it to give it to somebody. I'm not keeping it. I'm going to get it to somebody in some form or fashion. So that'll be cool. Somebody out there will end up with a complete set of them, which might be kind of unique and different. So hopefully whoever ends up with that will think it's cool. And if not, then oh well. Won't be much I can do about that. So, all right, let's get started. We're going to be here for a little bit. Paul said yawn to the race. I'll be curious to hear what everybody else has to think about the race. So 20 blasters, 8 cards per pack, 7 per box. Should have one hit per box, auto or mem. We've opened a few blasters, but not a bunch. And we've had decent luck with those few that we did open. So we'll see how this goes. What's up, Jerry? Once we get these first 5 boxes out of the way, then we'll set up a little display. And again, I'm just going to open all the packs for each blaster, and we'll just run through them like that. Yeah, I until fans really start to speak out about being tired of road courses, I think NASCAR is just going to continue to shove it down our throats. Let me tilt you guys down so you can see a little better. All right. Again, we're going to pretty much breeze through the base stuff. Optic Jeb Burton. Spellbound Jeff Gordon N. And we got the orange Velocity Matty D. How about a Ross Chastain Slingshot? First box. That's pretty sick. Going to Troy. Shee. I think that's the second Slingshot that I've ever pulled. I'm not sure if they're quite as rare. We'll see in a few more weeks. I'm not sure if they're quite as rare as they used to be, but they're still pretty tough pulls as far as I understand. Probably no more than one in a case. I put this in a penny sleeve because I know Troy likes to grade. This one might not be a 10, Troy. It's a little off center. I'm going to leave it in the penny sleeve until you tell me, yay or nay as far as grading. We're going to leave it just like that until I hear from you. Congrats, Troy. Good way to start. Matt Kenseth, 56 of 199. Matt Kenseth goes to Brian Jacobs. Orange Optic, William Sawalich. Sam Mayer Optic. Spellbound N. Dale Jr. And then the silver Christian Rose. I don't know what they're calling that. Orange Velocity and Orange Ice. It doesn't say what that is. But they're cool looking. Hocevar Orange Optic. And Optic Hollow, Kyle Petty. So anyway, we were before we found the Slingshot, we were talking about the race, and here's our hit. Souvenir swatches, William Byron. Going to Michael McManus. It's just one of those things that I don't think that anytime somebody continues to win, people get bored with it. And so, you have 4 road courses in a row where somebody's won. There's been 5 road course races this year. 4 in a row have been won by SVG. The very first one of the year was won by Bell. And it certainly seems like it certainly seems like they're trying to talk to the point of, SVG is going to have a really good chance to make it further into the playoffs because of all the wins and all the playoff points that you get. So I will be very curious to see what would happen. What would happen if SVG won, say he wins, say he scrapes his way by in the first round, advances to the second round of the playoffs, wins in the second round at, I think it's the Roval, and then, somehow manages to win a championship. Say he's our champion and he's won 5 races and they're all road courses. How does that sit with the NASCAR community? You know, if he were to finish the season as the NASCAR champion and has, 5 wins to his credit, but they're all road courses, how's that gonna... I'm just talking in hypotheticals. I don't think he'll be able to do that. I'm just talking in hypotheticals, though. Of all the road courses, though, I think Sonoma and Watkins Glen are the two that I enjoy the most. But, like I said, anytime somebody just absolutely wins all the time, it's boring to everybody. Yeah, I agree, too. I think the final round should be 3 races, just like the rest of the playoffs. It shouldn't be a one race determines your champion. Raja coming attractions. I agree wholeheartedly with that. If they would move to 3-race final round, that would at least improve the situation some. Carson Hocevar, silver. And William Byron, orange. Optic. I'll be curious. Every week I get on Twitter, on X, on Monday, and I see this Jeff Gluck. I don't even know who Jeff Gluck is. But I see that he posts a poll, Spellbound Gordon O. And it always says, was, the previous race a good race? And without fail, every week when it's a road course, it's 65% saying yes. And then, you'll have a race like Bristol or like Dover or even Iowa that, maybe not spectacular, but okay. No, not. And it'll be almost 50% no. 25 of 199, Lime Green Bubba goes to Paul Wolf. So I think he's got a lot of followers that are, into road course racing. And Orange Optic Dale Jr. But we'll see. I think we got our pack of rookies. Lawless Allen Optic Hollow. And Richard Childress Souvenir Swatches. Now, I think I explained this before. The guys from Panini stated that even though these say... this one says different. Look. The enclosed owner-worn material. So even though it's a souvenir swatch, it says it was owner-worn. You know how with the Byron it says is not from any specific race or event. This one says owner-worn. But anyway, the guy from Panini made a point to explain that they had received several shirts from Richard Childress. And so my guess is that's one of his white shirts. That's kind of cool. Childress is an unlisted spot and goes to Michael McManus. Unleashed Corey Heim. Yeah, I get it, Braxton. I mean, you guys know me. I am not a road course fan whatsoever. So I'm one of the first ones to be like, I don't like it. William Sawalich silver and Sheldon Creed orange. I'm going to try to get some mega boxes as well. Don't know that I'll get a full case of mega boxes, but I am going to try to get some. So just keep an eye out for those maybe in a bit. More super speedways. See, in my eye, they really only have... I really only consider 2 super speedways still. I don't consider Nashville or Atlanta super speedways. I know they race that way, but to me, Talladega and Daytona are the super speedways. Stenhouse Optic. Spellbound Gordon with the D. So I mean, that's just me and how I look at things. Just an auger. Nah, Michigan's definitely not a super speedway. Like I said, I know they consider Atlanta and Nashville, but I mean, Atlanta and Nashville race way better. I don't have a problem with Atlanta and Nashville. Their races are actually pretty darn good. Orange Optic Truex. But I do agree with whoever said it, Braxton, I think it was, that said, you know, if you do more of anything, it becomes oversaturated. I knew a guy in business when I worked at the racetrack, another businessman that I dealt with, Corey Heim on the Coming Attractions, and he used to tell me all the time, Mike, if you're somebody that likes steak, and I gave you steak to eat for 30 days in a row, suddenly eating steak doesn't seem all that special, does it? But if you have steak once a week, or maybe once every couple weeks, or once a month, then it feels special. Connor Mozak, Orange. Unleashed Connor Zilich. So... C. Bell. And we got a Burning Rubber, Christian Eckes with the Silver Ice. That's pretty cool looking. Eckes going to JR. Jerry says he likes short tracks. Yeah, I mean, I like tracks where there's a lot of action. And I don't, you know, Connor Zilich, Spellbound. I think that's why I enjoy Homestead and Phoenix so much. Because I feel like there's a lot going on at those tracks. And guys can make runs. You know what I mean? Brandon Jones... Silver. Matt Mills, Orange. There's too many times now where certain races are becoming fuel mileage games, and you know, where guys are racing half throttle, and I don't want this. I guess I didn't mean for this to turn into a gripe session. Because you know, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with any track that's not a road course, to be honest. So, Mike says he likes plate races. See, and I think that's what makes it great. You know, everybody can like. That's what is supposed to make NASCAR great. Is everybody can like the things that they like, because you're supposed to have a little of this and a little of that and a little of that. You know, Optic AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney Unleashed. Early on, I thought Blaney might have something, but I think SVG was just playing with him. Orange Optic Chris Buescher. Spellbound R Jeff Gordon. Taylor Gray. Silver. Christian Eckes, Orange Optic. Todd Gilliland Optic. Coming Attraction, Sam Mayer. Just like with the other case break that we did, I'll include one of every base. 174 or 199. Green, Caden Honeycutt. Going to Brad. Parker Retzlaff, Orange Optic. Panini points. 150 Panini points. Terrific. Optic Joey Logano. And Spellbound R Dale Jr. Panini points are such a waste. I don't know why they do that, to be honest. When they have a website, or when they have the ability to just make these manufactured patches now, like why don't they just put another souvenir swatch in place? This is a nice one. Connor Zilic, 46 of 75 with the orange cracked ice season highlights. That's going to go to Will Blackman. That's a really nice Zilic. Anyway, just like we normally do with points, I'll just wait till the end, and as I'm sorting, I'll try to pick out somebody or some buddies, depending on how many points we get, and give them to people that didn't get hits. We'll just randomly pick a person or two, depending on, like I said, how many we end up with. Empty box. Bring a couple stands in now. Now that we got some room to work. Let's put Zillage up there. Frankie autos. From what I heard, Mike, that has to do with Frankie. Because it sounds like Panini tried and he wasn't in for it. At least that's what I heard. So that might be on him. Lane Riggs Optic. Hocevar Season Highlights. And AJ Allmendinger Orange. I was talking about him the other night. How he's disappeared, basically, from the road courses. And again, he was kind of irrelevant today. Did you guys hear the dispute on the radio with Ty Gibbs and his crew chief, I'm assuming? 22/199, Jeremy Clements going to Kevin Bennett. They just had a complete meltdown. That was entertaining for sure. Orange Gilliland. Brent Cruz Optic rated rookie. Dale Jr. letter T. And we got Luke Fenhouse with the silver. Orange Optic Joey Logano. Christian Rose Hollow Silver Optic. Then we got a suited up Matty D with the cracked ice. That's going to go to Storm Ghost. I didn't see what he did today. I started the race late and then I fast forwarded. I basically skipped the first half of stage 2. I watched all of stage 1 and then had to fast forward to get caught up. And I caught stage 2 with like 20 to go in stage 2 by the time I fast forwarded to that point. Optic Orange Denny Hamlin. So if Hocevar did something and I missed it, that's probably where I missed it. Otherwise, I watched most of it. I was trying to pay attention. And that's saying something, considering considering my dislike for road courses. All right. We got 5 down, 15 to go. Uh-oh. I don't want to stand up. SVG Optic. Spellbound Chase Elliott. L. L for love. Brennan Poole, Orange Optic. Unleashed Denny. We got a Ryan Preece, Silver. And then Orange Optic rated rookie Brent Cruz. Jeez. Corey Heim Optic. Logano season highlights. And Tyler Ankrum, Orange. Spellbound Petty, letter P. Josh Williams Optic. We got another Childress. Souvenir Swatches shirt. Owner worn shirt. Going to Michael McManus. I probably wouldn't have had him be unlisted if I knew there was the chance to have that many of his hits in one. Oh, well, you live and you learn. Unleashed Richard Petty. Lime green Sam Mayer, 49 out of 199. Going to go to Lewis. No autos through 6 blasters. Optic Orange Bubba. Empty. We got everybody from the mail sale last night has paid with the exception of 5 people. So if you're one of those 5, what are you waiting on? Yeah, it feels like they've been doing more with, especially with Childress, Hendrick, and Roush lately, Mike, because they've had stuff, you know, in several products here recently. I still would like to see them include some crew chiefs. I know their reasoning is, well, the crew chiefs aren't very popular. How many people know the crew chief for this guy or that guy? I get that, but there's some crew chiefs that are very popular. And I know some of the crew chiefs more than I know some of these other guys that I've never heard of. Ryan Preece Optic. Brad Keselowski, Orange Optic. Spellbound T for Chase Elliott. You know, Chase used to be a really tough one on road courses, too. A lot's changed when they changed a car, though. You know? I mean, that's incredibly evident with the change of the car. Harrison Burton, Orange Optic. I don't know that you're ever going to get another season like Larson had there in the last year before they switched, where he won 10 races. I don't know that you're ever going to see that again, to be honest. At least not with this car. Coming Attractions, Christian Eckes. Did you pack mail sale? I'm not sure what. Ask me the question that you want to ask me, Mike. Brett Holmes, Orange. No, I haven't packed the mail sale cards yet. If that's what you're wanting to know, no. And the precursor or the next part of that question is if we can ship these cards with those, yes. Anything that'll fit, yes, we'll ship with mail sale cards. Souvenir swatches, Greg Biffle. Going to Michael as well. Spellbound, Richard Petty, T. Ty Gibbs, Orange Optic. Okay, Mike. Ty Gibbs, Orange. And Spellbound, 100 to 149. It's actually an orange Spellbound R, but because the left side of the card is red, it is a little tougher to distinguish. Going to Gavin. Let me grab a quick drink here. Put these base cards away. All right. Have the whole Gordon regular spell, yeah. Yeah, putting the base spellbounds together will be not super challenging, because there's quite a few of them. Like, I know when we did our case break, we completed several of the drivers, 2 or 3 of them out of the case. Earnhardt might not have been one of them because of his name being so long, but another code card I missed. All right, Gregson Optic, Spellbound Junior H, Chandler Smith Orange, William Sawalich Coming Attractions. Anybody working on these optic velocity sets? I'm still working on the pink and black from last year, and I'm still a ways off on both of them. Daniel Dye Orange Optic. Bowman Optic, Connor Zilich Spellbound, Ty Dillon, Silver, Zane Smith, Orange Optic, then we got Hollow Optic Slammin' Sammy Smith. Pedal to the Metal Connor Mozak Cracked Ice. That's pretty sharp. It's going to go to Brandon Palmer. We got a Spellbound S for Kyle Larson. John Hunter, orange, Optic. And then we got a Spellbound letter P, orange, cracked ice, 63/75. For the King. That goes to JR. Box. All right. Optic Zane Smith. Spellbound Dale Jr., letter A. C. Bell. Now, Bell drove a good race. He drove all the way back up to second. I mean, I feel like he passed a lot of cars today. Got the Slingshot Petty. Nice, Glenn. That's cool. Congrats on that. Nice PC hit for you. Daniel Suarez, silver. Jimmy Johnson, orange. We have still not seen any ink out of this case. Optic John Hunter. Ross Chastain, orange. Zilich, letter I. Doesn't look like we're going to get ink in this box either. Davey Allison, optic. And pedal to the metal. AJ Allmendinger with the cracked ice orange sheet metal. It's going to go to Michael. While I got you guys watching, thinking ahead this week, Spellbound Larson O. I was thinking about maybe a couple of mixers this week that would include, like what I was kind of thinking was maybe do like 3 or 4 boxes of Donruss and a single box of National Treasures together to kind of get that combination, you know, high and low end together. So what do you guys think of that? Those of you that are watching. if we did like I said, either 3 or 4 hobby boxes of Donruss and then maybe 1 NT. Austin Dillon Orange Optic is the end of that one. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Box. Optic Bubba Wallace. Larson Spellbound letter N. Optic Orange Carson Quapple. And we're going to need some more penny sleeves. So let's get those open. Unleashed Seabell. Austin Hill Orange. That's the fan favorite. Everybody loves Austin Hill. Coming Attractions, Sheldon Creed. Chandler Smith Optic. Spellbound O, Jeff Gordon. Weatherman and Silver BK. Stenhouse Orange Optic. Daniel Dye. So if I had to ask you guys today who you think is going to win the championship, who do you got? Who's your pick? Who are you guys picking to win the championship today? Souvenir swatches, William Byron. Going to Michael. Unleashed SVG. Kale says Byron. Austin Hill, 172/199, lime green. Going to Tony Jordan. Optic Orange Tyler Reddick going to Braxton. All right, we're halfway done. That's 10 down. We got 10 to go. Jerry says Blaney. You know, if you took away all the bad luck, you could probably really argue well that Blaney's had the most consistent season. Take away all the, just dumb luck stuff that's happened to him. He probably has been the most consistent. Andrew Ritchie says Brad Sweet. I don't think Brad Sweet's anywhere near contention. Maybe for the high limit championship. But probably not for Cup. Chris Grissom says Denny. The amount of pressure on Denny to win a championship's got to be pretty intense. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably like what Dale Sr. was feeling about winning a Daytona 500. Not trying to compare Denny to Dale Sr. I'm just saying it was one of those things where it felt like, he needed to win that race. It feels like Denny needs to win a championship. And it may take them to the very end of their career to get it done, you know. Petty Orange Optic. Byron season highlights. Bill Elliott silver. If it was all road course, well, yeah, that'd be easy. Caden Honeycutt, Optic Orange. I'm trying to think about who I like for the Final Four. I like Blaney in the Final Four. I like Byron in the Final Four. I like Bell in the Final Four. Pool Optic. And my last spot in the Final Four is kind of a toss-up between Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Like, my gut wants to say Larson will be there, but Chase has been really consistent all year, too. Orange Josh Berry. Then we got a Race Kings 84 of 149 Ryan Blaney. That's going to go to Mark Springer. I think that's at least my final five is those guys. I don't know how I get from 5 to 4, but that would be my final five at least. Byron, Blaney, Bell. The three Bs. Byron, Blaney, and Bell. And then some kind of tiebreaker between Elliott and Larson is my final five. Pedal to the metal, Brennan Poole. He's an unlisted driver. It's going to go to Michael. I think even with the amount of points that SVG is going to have in the playoffs, he's going to struggle to get out of that first round. I really do. Matt Kenseth. Especially if you get somebody that's really, really consistent, like a Bell or Chase Elliott, who's finishing in the top 3 or so every race and really stacking some points. And then you get a couple of guys that get a couple of wins, and all of a sudden the amount of slots to move forward are far less, So, I don't know. Maybe not. He might not struggle. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Empty box. I forget when I think about the playoffs and you think about advancing forward and stuff, I forget that, you got to be in the top 16 to make the playoffs. And to advance to the next round, they only eliminate 4 spots. And SVG is going to be in the top 2 or 3. For him to fall all the way out is he's going to have some really bad finishes. Which he does on ovals. He doesn't typically finish super well, but if he just has a couple of average finishes, it's going to make it pretty tough for him to fall out of that top 12, I think. Spellbound, Zilich. I guess I keep thinking, you got to be in the top 4 to advance. And that's not the right. I'm looking at it the wrong way. So, Raja Orange Optic. Boy, just kind of like the race, this break so far has been a bit of a snooze fest. Since we pulled the Slingshot in the first box, it feels like it's been sort of a snoozer since then, so to speak. I mean, we've had a couple nice cards, but nothing to get super fired up about besides the Ross. Lane Riggs. Jesse Love, Optic Orange Velocity. This is why I try to tell people all the time, though, if you're gonna buy blasters, like we've all heard from people that have said, they've done really well with buying, a mega box or a blaster here, and you can certainly get lucky. Absolutely. But if you're buying a blaster hoping for an autograph, I think we're showing that the odds of that are not great. Especially a good autograph. Jake Garcia, Orange Optic. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying odds are not as good as we'd like to think. 108 to 149. Spellbound, letter R or letter L. My apologies. Apparently I don't know my alphabet either. Larson going to Micah. Ty freaking Gibbs optic, and Greg Biffle souvenir swatches. We've seen a lot of duplicates, too, with relics. We've seen, I think, 2 Biffles, as that's going to go to Michael. I think we've seen 2 Biffles, 2 Childress. Might be it so far. Spellbound O. Yeah, we had, I bought, what did I have? 4 blasters that I put with with 4 hobby boxes, and we did a little mixer, and I pulled an auto, a nice auto, I think it was, out of one of them. The other 3 were relics, so, I mean, we're 11 blasters in now with no ink at all, though. Orange optic Carl Edwards. Grab a quick drink. I got Glacier Freeze Gatorade today. I grabbed it because it was in a bottle in the fridge. Everything else was in cans. When I'm downstairs dealing with car, I like to have something that I have a bottle. That way, if I make a mistake and knock it over, it's in a bottle. It's not going to make a mess. All right. Optic Austin Dillon. Carson Quapple coming attractions. Another code card. I'm usually pretty good at pulling those out. Apparently not so today. Cindric, going to go to Troy. Spellbound Petty. Mikey Waltrip, 167 of 199, lime green. It's going to go to Michael. Michael to Michael. From Michael. Sam Mayer, orange. BK Optic. Unleashed Jeff Gordon. We got Austin Hill with the silver. Justin Haley orange. A lot of orange optics. It feels like we're getting almost one per pack. Not quite, but almost. You're probably getting 6 of them in a box, I'm guessing. 5 or 6. Harrison Burton. And Kyle Weatherman suited up. Going to Michael. Nothing to speak of, Ty. Nothing to get excited about. Chase Elliott Race Kings. And then we got a Weatherman Orange Velocity Optic. All right, let me move these out of the way again. Yeah, man. All right. 7 to go. Oh. Neck cracked. That's probably how I keep missing one, because every once in a while I get a pack that opens the other way, and then I flip it over and miss the code card. All right. I don't know what we got to do to change up our current track that we're on here, but we need something to switch it up here a little bit. Bill Elliott Orange Optic. Suarez and Garcia. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Silver. Then we got a Frankie Muniz Orange Optic. Rated rookie. Ross. Spellbound E for Chase. Ryan Blaney Orange. Unleashed Larson. Optic Hollow Michael McDowell. I messed up with my fantasy lineup today. I had McDowell in the garage and Ty Gibbs in the lineup. And then, of course, Ty Gibbs has a little meltdown. I should have swapped McDowell out. That was the only thing I really could have done to make my lineup better today, and it is what it is. Kyle Busch, souvenir swatches. That's a different photo for Kyle Busch, too. So that's good to see. Kyle Busch going to Zach Brewer. Certainly looks like tire, if I had to guess. It might be fire suit. Daniel Dye, silver. And Mikey Waltrip. Empty box. Frankie Muniz, Optic. Season highlights, Larson. I know I haven't been talking about it a lot, but it's still kind of early on to get super into it. But I will mention, just as a reminder, that we will celebrate our 5th anniversary in October. I don't know the exact date yet. Matt Kenseth, orange optic. I'd probably like to shoot for as close to the actual day of when we did the first break as I can, but so I'm going to have to do some research on what date that was exactly. Spellbound Dale Jr. But it's also going to depend on, a few other things, because we're going to do a pretty big break for that. It's going to be a big mixer for the 5th anniversary. I've got some cool stuff saved up for it. Alan Kulwicki, orange optic. Race Kings, Martin Truex Jr., orange, 26 out of 75. That's nice. It's going to go to Rick. Petty optic. And silver, Alan Kulwicki. Cole Custer. Lexi and Sophie are signing live for crazy money. What is that? I'm not sure what that means, Jerry. Signing live. Connor Mozak, pedal to the metal. Another Connor Mozak sheet metal. Going to Brandon Palmer. Another double up. Zilich C. Taylor Gray, orange. eBay Live. I've never, I mean, I've heard of eBay Live. I wouldn't even know the first thing about it. Unleashed Connor Zilich. 86/149. Going to Will Blackman. So they're signing like autographs on eBay Live. Or I guess I'm not sure how that works or what they're up to. Do you pay a certain amount and you get like an autographed picture sent to you or something? Or maybe somebody's got cards of them? Five to go, guys. Still completely inkless, which is becoming quite frustrating. Like you'd think that at least you'd have in a case maybe 3, 4, 5 autos in a case. I would think 4 would be good. Cards, pictures, balls, jersey. Wow. Interesting. And is it them themselves doing that, or are they doing that for a company? Like, has a company hired them? Yeah, points would be in place of an auto. Yeah, correct, Mike. But I just don't count points as points to me are you know what I mean? Three in the last 5 boxes, JR says. Maybe those bottom 3 will all have autos in them. Wouldn't that be something? I guess it could happen. $300 for a card, signing for a company. Wow, $300 for a card. That's a lot. I bet they're getting it, though. Optic Nick Sanchez. Spellbound Larson, letter A. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Almirola. Frankie Muniz, silver. Rated rookie. Orange Optic Haley Deegan. Carson Quapple. Spellbound, letter T for Chase. David Starr, silver. Justin Bonsignor, orange optic. Optic Austin Hill. How about our third Richard Childress souvenir swatch? We're going to be able to put his whole shirt back together before too long. Going to Michael. It's not the daily. Is there a triple in Jeopardy? Not the daily double. This is the triple double, the daily triple. I don't think that works. Unleashed Chase Elliott. Cole Custer, 007 out of 199. With the lime green going to Storm Ghost. If we go inkless, I'm going to have to go pull some autographs out of a box and just... I'll have to go grab my pull box and just pull whatever autos I have in there out and add those to the break. We can't go inkless. That's not fair to you guys. Casey Kane. Orange. We still got 4 to go, though, so we'll see. Sophie jersey went for $1,000. Wow. Whoops. I'm knocking everything over. All I did was, like, barely open my hand and everything went flying. I have a hard time believing that it would be a... You know, Sophie and Lexi are good players, but they're not star players like... You know, they're not a Caitlin Clark or a Paige Beckers or an Aja Wilson or, you know, anybody like that. Yeah, Connor fell again, poor guy. So, for people to be spending $1,000 for an autographed jersey of Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, probably a guy with more money than he knows what to do with. That is a quite literal fanboy, in my opinion. I just don't see a genuine basketball fan paying that for... Yeah, I'm just saying, for it to get to that price, I guess I don't know exactly what's going on over there, so it's hard for me to say, but Optic Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, Unleashed. Jeremy Clements. Spellbound, Connor Zilic. We got Jesse Love, silver. Tony Breidinger. Optic orange. Chris Buescher. Tyler Reddick. Reddick's another one that's normally really strong on road courses. And hasn't, you know, all the guys that you're used to having be up front have just not. I think that's part of the issue as to why SVG's dominating is because nobody else has stepped up. Kyle Busch, orange. Petty Race Kings. Christian Eckes optic. Matty D suited up. Fire suit. Going to Storm Ghost. Spellbound Chase Elliott. Jeremy Clements silver. I just realized I got to go out and water my... I really need to go out and water the grass too, but I need to water my... We have pumpkins growing. Some of you may have seen. We've had several days of no rain, so I probably ought to go out and water them tonight. Just thinking about that. Don't know what made me think of it, but I just thought about it. The things you think of when you're breaking cards, right? All right, these last three have all got to have autos in them at this point, right? Like, that's the only thing that makes sense in this world. Let's see. Let's do it. Empty, empty. Show us the ink. Show us the golds. Give us something. Well, that opened incredibly weird. Jeez. Just return the case for a refund. I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works quite that way. Optic Justin Haley. Spellbound Connor Zilic L. Allgaier. Optic Orange Velocity Jamie McMurray. Zilic Coming Attractions. You don't get any red and blues like you do in the hobby, so those must be hobby exclusives. Joey Logano Silver. Connor Daly Orange Optic. Optic Weatherman. Spellbound R. Ben Rhodes Orange. We don't have a relic here. It's either going to be an autograph or points. Or nothing. Raja Karuth Optic. Thad Moffat Signature Series. Finally found some ink. It only took us almost to the end. Orange Ice Signature Series Thad Moffat. That's going to go to Michael. Optic Silver, Davey Allison. Orange, Anthony Alfredo. Chicken Alfredo. I think you might have called it, JR. We'll see. Empty, empty. We'll see. Optic Jesse Love. Zillich season highlights. We got an orange Butterbean Queen. Unleashed Bowman. Austin Beers. Connor Daly, 45 out of 199. Lime green. It's going to go to Ronnie. David Starr. Jake Garcia. Petty. Y. Spellbound. Got a Harvick orange. Coming attractions, Christian Eckes, 85 out of 149. That'll go to JR. That's going to be a red ice. That's not orange at all. That's red. Suarez, Optic Hollow. And no ink in this one. AJ Allmendinger, pedal to the metal. Cracked ice. Jesse Love, coming attractions. I will tell you guys, if you're watching, when we're done with this last box, don't go anywhere, because I'm going to go grab the pull box from last night, and whatever autos I have in there that... I'm not trying to supplement the unlisted spot, because the unlisted spot's the only spot that's really killed it today. Otherwise, everybody else, it's kind of been with the exception of, the Slingshot. It's been very much a not good break. So any autos that I have in that pull box that go to a driver on the checklist that wouldn't be considered unlisted, we'll go through the pull box, and anything we can find in there will go to your drivers, whoever these may be. I don't know if I got, 2 autos in there or 6 autos in there that'll qualify, but whatever's in that box, we're going to pull them out. They'll go to your drivers. Because we can't be doing a break and pull 2 autos. It just doesn't work for me. Definitely doesn't work for you. If I'm the breaker and it doesn't work for me, then... So just don't run off when we're done. Unless you just don't care about whatever is in the box, then that's fine. But otherwise, like I said, we'll go through it. If it's a driver on the list, then it'll go to that driver. Butterbean Queen Optic. Michael McDowell Orange Optic. Christian Rose Optic Orange. We got a Spellbound Junior 86 out of 149. Letter H. Going to Zach Brenner. All Trip Unleashed Logano. Tyler Reddick, silver. Slammin' Sammy Smith. Another Brennan Poole. Jeez. It's not been, I'm not picking on some of these other drivers that we've pulled relics of and numbered cards. I'm not saying that any of these guys are bad or whatever, but when you look at what you pay for an entire case and what you got, like if I had opened this case myself, I would be extremely disappointed even with the Slingshot. And that's saying something. Like, you shouldn't pull what they consider to be a case hitish type thing and still be like, man, that wasn't very good. It just wasn't. Like even with the Chastain included, which is probably I don't know how much it's worth. It's not irrelevant, but certainly the most valuable card of everything. in my opinion. But good Lord. I mean, if you had bought that case and opened it yourself, I would be extremely disappointed with that. Considering, a case is not cheap. So, hang tight for a second. Hang tight for a second. Don't go running off. 2017 blaster case, and that was off. Now, see, I've done better out of 2017. Let me grab this box. I already put everything else away from last night, so we'll put the Thad Moffat over here with the rest of the hits, and then the Slingshot, which I'm going to go ahead and put in a top load. I don't know if Troy will want to grade this or what he's going to want to do, but that way I can bring this box in here. And like I said, we'll just go through it, and any autos that are in here, if the driver's on our checklist, it'll go to you. If it's an unlisted driver, then we're going to skip over it, because unlisted did fine. It's everybody else that really took a bath tonight. Zane Smith, scripts from Prism. So that'll go to Jacob Hartwig. Jacob Hartwig. We got you a Zane Smith auto. Chase Briscoe, select silver auto. That's going to go to Micah Robinson. Ben Rhodes, sensational signatures. We'll give that to Storm Ghost. There's 3. That ain't half bad. Takuma Koga would be an unlisted, so we'll leave that there. And then let's get the rest of these out. Let's see. Garrett Smithley would be an unlisted, I think. Yeah. So we'll leave that one. Derek Cope also would be unlisted. We found 3 so far. I'd like to find maybe at least one more. Chandler Smith, I think, is on our list. Yeah, Chandler Smith, red sensational signatures. That's going to go to Micah Robinson. That one should be numbered. 65 and 99. So there's 4. Brett Moffitt was not listed. Matt Tift, not listed. So we got 4 autos. That's better than what we had. Better than what we had. So let me put this box back together, and then I'll give you guys a recap. I know it's not my fault that the case sucked, so to speak, but I also feel a responsibility to a degree, you know what I mean? Like, so we had Chandler Smith, red sensational signatures, Ben Rhodes, sensational signatures, Chase Briscoe, silver, Scripps Zane Smith, silver. We did have a Ross Chastain Slingshot, but like I said, even with the Slingshot, I feel like the case just not good. Not good at all, in my opinion. The other lone auto, the only one that we pulled out of a blaster was Thad Moffat. 20 blasters, and we got 1 autograph. We did have 150 points, which are, of course, in place of an autograph. But, to use those 150 points, it's going to cost you some money. So we had Brennan Poole, AJ Allmendinger, Matty D, Richard Childress, number 1, Connor Mozak, Kyle Busch, Kyle Weatherman, Greg Biffle, Brennan Poole again, William Byron, AJ Allmendinger, Connor Mozak again, Greg Biffle again, Richard Childress again, Matty D, Christian Eckes, Richard Childress for the third time, William Byron again. So, just an incredibly rough case from the perspective of not really being able to spread hits out to everybody at all. So, my apologies for certainly a rough case. But it's just the way it is. Sometimes things are great. Sometimes things are not. It's why I tell people all the time, though, that unless you got a lot of disposable income, your better bet is, if you're a collector, your better bet is to get in a break, which I know this one sucked, but imagine if you were somebody that bought that whole case. That would have hurt, Whereas, say you bought 2 or 3 spots in the break and you're into it for $40, that doesn't hurt nearly as bad as, $500-$600 for a case. So, I know everybody wants to say bad things about breaks, but man, from the risk perspective, breaks way less risk than opening all those on your own. So appreciate everybody's support as usual. I will get a schedule posted this week, either tonight or tomorrow, for this week, but Tuesday will be the next break for sure. Probably a mixer, like I was explaining with Donruss and National Treasures. So look for Tuesday. We'll probably shoot for 7:30 Tuesday, as a post time. And that's all I got for now. So everybody have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you all next time.